A medical resident is heading to the Human Rights Commission in April. She claims she was sexually harassed by a doctor overseeing her residency and lost everything because she called it out. That was 6 years ago, and her life has been on hold ever since as she fights to get her career back.
I can't see myself doing anything else in my life. I've always wanted to be an oncologist.
Anna Safavi was a resident at the Northern Ontario School of Medicine, known as NOSM. Just over halfway through her 3-year residency, Safavi alleges a supervising doctor sexually harassed her and that it happened more than once. In the first instance, she claims she was at a work party with her then fiancé, and the doctor told him to take her upstairs to a bedroom, saying,
I bet she'd like it. I hear she's a freak between the sheets. I think it was more humiliating because it wasn't even said to me. He was talking about me to my then fiancé.
Safavi's former fiancé signed an affidavit backing up her claim. Safavi says the doctor had powerful connections at NOSM. She was afraid, so she didn't name him when she filed a complaint with the Vice team.
She suspended me. She said that NOSM had to make sure that I was safe.
NOSM launched an investigation, and Safavi revealed the name of her alleged harasser. More than a year later, the investigator concluded there was no wrongdoing, and Safavi was not a credible or reliable witness. After the investigation, Safavi was allowed to go back to her residency, but she refused to return until NOSM put measures in place to ensure there would be no retaliation. She says they couldn't come to an agreement, and eventually, her residency was ended.
I wasn't kicked out for having done something wrong. They just said we're not holding your spot because we can't agree to a safety plan.
And what did that mean for your future?
End of my career, and they knew that.
In Canada, if a resident is dismissed from a residency, they can't apply to go elsewhere.
It wasn't a real investigation. When you have physicians who are responsible for mentoring young residents and training them, they're viewed like gods. The system protects those people.
Behind the scenes, NOSM had had a history of harassment and intimidation. CityNews obtained this email sent from the chief resident in 2016, which states, "This is noted to be an ongoing issue for the last 2 years." It continues on to say, "Ultimately, this is likely going to be the biggest issue when it comes to accreditation." In fact, NOSM was in danger of losing its accreditation from the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons to teach psychiatry and internal medicine, which was Safavi's program. Note, this was in 2016, the same year Safavi was entering NOSM's residency program. She is not the only resident who has raised the issue of sexual harassment in this country. In 2018, around the time Safavi says she was being harassed, the Canadian Medical Association Journal released a national survey by Resident Doctors of Canada. It found pervasive harassment, with more than 1 in 10 respondents saying they were sexually harassed or touched inappropriately. In just over half the cases, residents said staff physicians were the harassers.
Resident students do not have any protections, and there is this culture of fear. This is what this case really highlights.
In his response to the allegations before the Human Rights Commission, the doctor Safavi has accused denied any wrongdoing, stating, "It is to my horror that I have been falsely targeted. It is pure fantasy on the part of Dr. Safavi." The doctor's statement also says Safavi either met or exceeded expectations in his evaluation of her work. Have you ever regretted coming forward?
Yes, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone else. But at the same time, looking back, I don't know what else I could have done.
NOSM declined to comment about Safavi's case, but did tell CityNews it is fully accredited. The doctor says he voluntarily resigned from the faculty a year after the allegations to pursue research opportunities. Safavi is asking the Human Rights Commission to make him pay her $25,000 in damages and issue a public apology. She says her primary goal is for the commission to reinstate her so she can finish her residency at NOSM and finally be able to practice medicine.